Welcome to today's explainer, everyone. Have you ever been totally frustrated by a clunky mobile website, but, you also didn't want to go through the whole hassle of downloading a massive, full-blown application? Well, today we are tackling one of the most fascinating architectural shifts in modern web development to solve exactly that problem. For years, there's been this massive, stubborn gap between highly accessible websites and those incredibly powerful mobile apps. But today, we're going to learn exactly how to bridge that gap by mastering progressive web apps. Historically, businesses and developers kind of had to choose between two totally different worlds. On one side, we have the web. The web is amazing because it's incredibly low friction. There's no app store to navigate, absolutely no installation process. You just click a link and boom, you're there. Plus, updates happen automatically behind the scenes. But on the flip side, you have native mobile apps. These have traditionally felt way more powerful, right? They live right there on your home screen, they can work totally offline, and they can re-engage you with push notifications. They really feel like a permanent piece of your device. So for a long time, you basically just had to pick a side. But what if you didn't have to choose? In this explainer, we are going to cover the web versus mobile divide, the core components of PWAs, caching and service workers, app-like features and engagement, a real-world PWA example, and lastly, limitations and best practices. All right, let's jump right into part one, the web versus mobile divide. So what exactly is a progressive web app, or PWA? Well, it's a web application that leverages modern browser capabilities to deliver an experience that feels pretty much exactly like a native app. Now, here is a really important distinction. A PWA is absolutely not a replacement for responsive web design. I mean, if your website is terrible to read on a phone, magically turning it into a PWA isn't going to save it. Responsive design is the baseline. A PWA is an enhancement built on top of that baseline, bringing things like installability, offline capabilities, and blazing fast performance directly into the browser. It's really all about progressive enhancement. Older browsers still get a perfectly great website, while modern browsers get the full, rich app experience. Moving right along to part two, the core components of PWAs. You see, a PWA isn't just a single feature or a magical switch you can just flip on. Instead, it's a carefully orchestrated system of design and engineering practices all working together. For starters, you absolutely must have HTTPS for security, mainly because PWAs use some pretty advanced browser features that require a highly trusted context. You're also going to need a web app manifest, a service worker, a snappy responsive UI, a really smart caching strategy, and an offline fallback. All of these gears basically have to turn together in perfect harmony to create that seamless app illusion. Let's break down the web app manifest. You can think of this as the PWA's identity card. It's simply a JSON file that tells the device exactly how your app should look and launch when a user installs it to their home screen. It dictates the name, the icons, the theme colors, and incredibly importantly, the display mode. By setting that display mode to standalone, the PWA opens without the standard browser search bar and those typical navigation buttons. And honestly, this is the magic moment where the browser wrapper completely disappears, giving your user a truly immersive native-like experience. All right, part three, caching and service workers. The service worker is, without a doubt, the absolute most critical piece of the whole PWA puzzle. It's a background script that runs entirely separate from the main web page. Imagine it as a super smart traffic controller or a programmable network layer sitting right inside the user's browser. When your app makes a request for, say, an image or a piece of data, the service worker intercepts that request and decides, should I fetch this from the internet? Or should I just pull it from the local cache because the user happens to be offline? It literally changes everything about how web applications handle connectivity. And this traffic control brings us to the app shell architecture. Think of the app shell like the basic skeleton of a house. The service worker heavily caches this skeleton. We're talking the headers, the navigation bar, the core page layout. Because all of that is cached locally, when a user opens your PWA, this skeleton loads almost instantly, even if they're on a terrible, spotty network connection. Then, the dynamic data, which is like the furniture of the house, is loaded in progressively after the fact. This drastically improves the user's perceived performance because they never have to sit there staring at a blank, frustrating white screen. Now, caching isn't just a simple one-size-fits-all thing. Your caching strategy has to directly reflect business correctness and data sensitivity. For example, you might use a cache-first strategy for static things like CSS or images so they load up instantly. But for something like a learner's course progress, you'd want a network-first strategy to make sure they're seeing their freshest score, only falling back to the cache if they're completely offline. And for highly sensitive actions like a payment checkout, yeah, you absolutely must use network only. Blindly caching everything is a massive security and storage risk, so you have to be strategic here. Let's get into part 4, app-like features and engagement. This brings up a huge user experience question. When is the right moment to actually ask your users for push notification permissions? We all know the exact pain of landing on a website for the very first time only to be instantly bombarded with a pop-up begging to send notifications. It's annoying, right? Users will almost certainly click block and boom, you've lost them forever. A much better, far more effective strategy is to prompt the user after some meaningful engagement. Wait until they've actually enrolled in a course, and then naturally ask, hey, would you like to receive reminders before your course deadlines? Context is absolutely everything here. When you do this right, you unlock some truly incredible native-like features. Beyond just push notifications, you can create really graceful offline fallback pages. So instead of forcing your users to play the Chrome offline dinosaur jumping game, they see a beautifully branded page letting them read their downloaded materials. Even cooler is background sync. This lets a user fill out a form or finish a lesson while completely offline. The PWA simply queues the action locally and automatically syncs it with a server the exact second their Wi-Fi connects again. You're basically building a frictionless, distributed system right inside the browser, which is just awesome. Moving on to part 5, a real-world PWA example. Let's look at this beautifully frictionless user journey in action with a platform like Uplatz. Step 1. A user is browsing courses on the web and decides to install the PWA directly from their browser with just one click. Zero app store required. Step 2. They get on a train for their commute and entirely lose their network connection. Step 3. Thanks to our trusty service worker, the app shell loads instantly anyway, and they can comfortably read cached course PDFs and complete a lesson entirely offline. And finally, step 4. The moment they step off that train and reconnect to the network, background sync kicks in and updates their progress automatically. It's seamless, it's incredibly powerful, and it drives massive engagement. Finally, let's wrap up with part 6, limitations and best practices. That journey sounds completely amazing, but as engineers and designers, we definitely have to acknowledge that PWAs are not magic. Let's look at a few critical mistakes and limitations. First off, a huge mistake is caching private, sensitive data on a shared device. You have to remember that this creates a massive security risk if someone else picks up that iPad or laptop. Another common mistake is totally ignoring your update strategy, which can cause users to get trapped looking at old, stale versions of your app. And as for limitations, well, if you are building a super intensive 3D game, an app that needs deep Bluetooth integration, or one using advanced encrypted media, a PWA might not be the right tool for the job. For those really specific, hardware-heavy use cases, native apps are currently still the better choice. So the crucial point to remember today is exactly this. A PWA is not just a website with a shiny icon. It is a carefully designed web experience. Success here requires so much more than just checking a few technical boxes. It requires a really deliberate combination of mobile-first responsive design, intelligent offline fallbacks, tight security, and precise update management. When you respect these principles, the results are truly spectacular. I'll leave you with this final thought as you plan your next big project. Consider carefully. Does your next project really need the friction of a native app, or could a progressive web app provide the perfect bridge? Do you really need to force your users through a tedious App Store download, or can you give them that lightning-fast, app-like experience right from a simple URL? It's an incredibly exciting paradigm shift and one that is completely reshaping how we build for the web. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see what you build.